And we are coming back. It is 2:30 Mountain Daylight Time, and you are joining us here on ColoradoSports.TV for coverage of the 2015 Mayday Mayhem here in Loveland, Colorado. My name is Ms. Communication, and I'm joined by
Holly Sheet.
Holly Sheet joining us for the first time on broadcast here in the lovely state of Colorado.
Thank you for having me.
We are going to be watching the Fort Collins FoCo Girls Gone Derby Microbruisers versus the Assault Creek Roller Girls A-Team here on track 2. Assault playing this morning dealt a pretty heavy blow. Score on that against Oklahoma City was 242-78 in Oklahoma City's favor. Of course, Assault Creek, 7th seed in their pool. Oklahoma City was the 1st seed. And right now, FoCo is the 4th seed in Pool 2. Again, our pools play off against each other in a round robin, which seeds into our final bracket tournament. The Mayday Mayhem is the only World Cup-style tournament outside of the women's and men's actual World Cup that is played where we actually have a winner at the end of it. Quite a few of our spring tournaments around the world are invitational tournaments where you just watch a bunch of games. And this one actually the largest one that has a winner at the end. Microbruisers roster today for this game is going to be number 0, Sandra Decomposer, number 12, Hermione Danger, number 13, Wonder Woman, 138, Unchained Malady, 187, Double Destruction, number 20 is Dead Zeppelin, 333 is Hat Trick, 50 is the Original Skankster, 576, the Deathly Howler, 770 is Georgia St. Pierre, and 8008, Princess of Wales, 86 is Gal Capone, 98, Pounds of Steel at number 98, and not 8 is You Be Nice.
Fantastic, and we're playing against them in the blue and white is Assault Creek Roller Girls A-Team, and playing for them today we have 006 Heather Hunt, 007 Doppelganger, 136 Riot Rita, 187 Minister of the Fist, number 28 Hall Pass, number 3 Medora West, 36 Breath Taker, 4125 Plum Jam Happy, number 713 Beast Aggressive, number 8 Danger Girl, number 84 Grinding Zone, number 99 Lindsay McVeigh, and 9MM Miss Maladjusted.
This morning, we saw in the Assault Oklahoma City game that the penalty box was where it was at. The jammers for Assault constantly going to the penalty box, having some issues, but some jammers to look for on that Assault list. 136 Riot Rita. We have number 3 Medora West, Beast Aggressive as well. Those jammers, as well as Lindsay McVeigh. McVeigh this morning having the most effective game. She scored the high-scoring jam of the first game with a 25-point jam in the second half against Oklahoma City. FoCo has not yet played this weekend. Again, the ladies in blue and white are your Assault Creek Roller Girls All-Stars. Your ladies in black, the FoCo Girls Gone Derby Microbruisers, and the jam is in play. Please keep in mind that the announcers are facing the jam line, so we will certainly get those jammer names for you once we see them.
And taking lead jammer for Assault Creek is Plum Jam Happy, picking up lead jammer, closely followed hot on her heels. Number 98 Pounds of Steel for FoCo. Coming up to that inside line. Plum Jam Happy tries to duck through that inside line, picks up 1 point, but that's contested. 4 points going to FoCo Microbruisers. So FoCo not picking up lead, but picking up 4 points on that first jam.
Plum Jam actually not jamming in the first game today, so she is rested, a fresh set of legs. 4-1 right now, 29 minutes left in the first half.
FoCo taking that front wall, trying to hold nice and solid. Unchained Malady having trouble pushing past number 99, which is Lindsay McVeigh. Knocked there to the outside. Now she's trying to attack that inside line.
It's number 3, Medora West in blue, becoming your lead jammer for Assault. She is jamming against number 138, Unchained Melody for FoCo.
Melody now knocked down to the floor. She's really struggling against that 2-wall at the front. FoCo doing a really good job of slowing her down. Time and time again, knocked down to the floor.
Big hit to the inside on Unchained Melody. Melody having some issues with Assault Creek. Assault putting together quite a defense, regrouping after this morning. Melody fighting her way out, ready to score.
In the meantime, Medora West has been pushing and pushing, manages to sneak her way around, calls that jam to an end there. No points scored by Melody. I believe we've got some points there on the board. 4 points.
I've got to.
Thank you. For Assault Creek. That brings them up to 6 points, playing against 4 for FoCo.
Correct, with 27 minutes remaining in the half. Jam refs for this game are Silence of the Jams and Spankin' the Monkey.
For FoCo. Going up against number 84, Grinding Zone.
Some good offensive play there by number 12, Hermione Danger, breaking out her jammer.
Hat trick out in front, number 333, lead jammer for FoCo.
Some good work there. Grinding Zone managing to stay on the outside line, having to run her way up though to make sure she stayed in. Jam called to an end by Hat Trick, picking up 3 points for FoCo.
With Grinding Zone not very far behind her, but still far enough away, she probably could have gone for that 4th point and made the risk, but definitely calling off that jam. We have a 1-point game, friends. 26 minutes left in the half. FoCo up 7 to Assault Creek 6. These two teams have not met in sanctioned play before.
Interesting to see how they play out in the game just now.
Assault Creek losing number 28 to the penalty box for a forearm penalty. That's hall pass.
A Wonder Woman jamming for FoCo. Was having trouble being recycled to the back, but has found that inside line at the front. Sneaks through, picks up lead jammer for the Micro Bruisers.
Out and ready to score as well as 4125 Plum Jam. Happy?
Oh, that middle just opened up completely. Wonder Woman darts her way through. She's carrying on, going round again. Some Furies calling there from the bench. Quite a late call off by Wonder Woman for the Micro Bruisers. She picks up 4 points.
3 blockers there.
But it was in time, 0 for Assault Creek. So a very delayed call off, but it worked well for FoCo. They are now 11-6 with just over 25 minutes left remaining in this half.
We have a great weekend for you here in Loveland. 2 tracks of action. We are bringing this to you without a paywall. Make sure you click on that Donate Now button now.
98 pounds of steel.
98 pounds of steel on the line up against number 3, Medora West. 98 pounds of steel, though, heading out on a track cut. This power play is advantage Assault Creek.
A huge advantage as well. We've just got You Be Nice as the sole blocker, unable to hold back Medora. Medora picking up a very easy 5-point Grand Slam. We've now got double destruction on the track as well. Unable again, Medora West finding it an easy pass with just those 2 blockers. Another 5 points added to Assault Creek. They now leapfrog over FoCo, and the jam is still in progress. Oh, a lovely bounce on the inside line. Medora West barely moving. She saw that one coming. Bounces through, another 5 points.
She calls off the jam with 98 pounds of steel standing in the penalty box. So we'll have a power start for Assault Creek. That was 15 power points. FoCo with a full penalty box right now, including their jammer on her feet. Obviously, at any level of play, the penalty box is going to come into position, but penalty management seems to be what is making or breaking teams here at Mayhem.
Salt Creek trying to go for the split pack there. Managers in their favour, grinding zone, jumping up through that inside line, picking up lead jammer nice and quickly just before FoCo get their jammer released from the box. She is back on track, knocked to that outside line and knocked down again. Some big hits coming in from the Salt Creek girls.
Yeah, that was hall pass, showing her to the hall.
And grinding zone now trying to work her way around the outside. Looks like she's waiting for some assistance from her own team before she goes for it. But they seem to have carried on without her.
98 pounds of steel out and ready to score as the pack rounds turn 4, knocking grinding zone to the outfield. And she calls off the jam with 4 points on the board for Salt Creek. It's 25-11, 22 minutes and 45 seconds remaining in the first half. The very first thing that I am noticing about this game compared to this morning is that Salt Creek has quite a deep jammer rotation. Except for Medora West, none of these other jammers jammed in the first game this morning against Oklahoma City. Now, number 84, Grinding Zone, she did skate as pivot and receive a star pass a few times. But none of them started on the jammer line except for Medora West.
Or maybe that testing of what jammers they can have out on there has been working in their favour. They've got Plum Jam Happy on the line right now. Jamming for them, past the line. But it is Unchained Melody for FoCo who has picked up lead jammer. Plum Jam Happy still stuck in that pack. A very solid 3-wall by the FoCo blockers, really slowing it down. That pack is barely moving. Unchained Melody now at the back. She's gone through the middle, takes a wide route round, but picks up all 5 points in that scoring pass. Big hit there to the inside line by Princess of Wales, recycling back the Salt Creek jammer.
Unchained Melody breaking it free from the pack. Riot Rita with a final little send out there. 5 more points for Melody and the Micro Bruisers.
Plum Jam Happy now again desperately trying to push her way through the inside and outside. Picks up a track cut penalty and is sent to the penalty box. So Plum Jam Happy off the track now. It's a power jam for Unchained Melody.
And that's going to give Unchained Melody here a opportunity.
Right now, Salt Creek building a bridge up at turn 4. Unchained Melody decides to just go ahead and call it off. She's already scored plenty of points. She does pick up 5 power points, 15 total for the Micro Bruisers in that last jam. And we have another lead change, ladies and gentlemen. 26-25, 1-point game here on track 2, day 1 of our 3-day tournament here. This is why we call it Mayhem.
This is just under 10 minutes gone, and again, the scores are leapfrogging each other. The games today have been fantastic. Do stick with us on ColoradoSports.TV to make sure you catch all the action this weekend.
Starting out at this power jam, we've got number 333, Hat Trick. She does become lead jammer. Pack stopping around turn 1.
So far you can go before you have to let that jammer through.
Offensive play there in by the original Skankster, managing to break open that outside line. We've got Plum Jam Happy now back on the track, released from the penalty box. She's struggling up against Sandra de Composer. And now a 2-wall at the front. Hat Trick, however, pushes her way around the outside and catches back up to her a whole lap ahead. So Hat Trick picking up 4 points. Plum Jam Happy just breaking free, and those jammers are now racing round to the pack on turn 4.
Yeah, some illegal use of magic there.
And Hat Trick calls that jam to an end.
We go FoCo Girls Gone Derby lengthening their lead with that 9-point jam, 35-25 with 19 minutes remaining in the first half.
And jamming now for FoCo.
She's jamming up against Medora West.
Salt Creek with just a slight blocker advantage as we go into jam number 9. They will start with 4 against FoCo's 3 on the track.
Out of Fort Collins, Colorado.
It's number 3, Medora West in blue and white. She is jamming against,
I believe that's
number
Wonder
13,
Woman. Sorry.
Wonder Woman for FoCo. Wonder Woman having some trouble with that Salt Creek defense at the rear of the pack. She gets a little tangled up, breaks free, and lead jammer FoCo, Girls Gone Derby.
Yeah, lovely work. They're getting nice and low to avoid those hits. She is quite a tall skater, so she had to get really down to get around the inside. But she picks up a high block penalty.
High block being called Wonder Woman.
Now got a power jam here to Salt Creek. And Medora West being battered around a little bit there. Tried to take the outside and the inside. FoCo doing a very good job of just now stopping her, barely moving.
FoCo definitely stymieing Medora. She has been working to break this pack on her initial pass for 1 minute and 10 seconds now. And with Wonder Woman on her feet in the penalty box, we may just see her break free. We're going to go the remaining 44 seconds as Wonder Woman was lead jammer before she entered the box.
Oh, a massive hit there. Fantastic offensive play. That was number 576. And again, she takes out Medora West. Some really good blocking there, going from the offensive blocking to the defensive blocking in split second, basically.
Wonder Woman with 5 points. She's now on her second scoring pass. Medora West picking up 4 for Salt Creek.
Wonder Woman again getting really low on that inside line. Picks up 4 more points for FoCo. And Medora West just jumping over the skates there, picks up 4 points as that jam comes to an end. So trading points throughout that jam, both jammers.
9-8 in that last jam. We are at a score of 40-33, 16 minutes and 44 seconds remaining in the first half. You know, I think Wonder Woman with that little skate low move, I'm pretty sure that's how she picks up her high block penalties, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's her specialty, as it were.
Indeed, she is quite a tall skater, as we said. And it is getting to be a physical game. It's been very tactical, but I can see the hits are coming in a little bit bigger. Number 84, Grinding Zone, picking up lead jammer now for Salt Creek. And that's number 98 pounds of steel jamming for FoCo. She's struggling, but with a little push from her teammates, manages to break through on that inside line on her initial pass.
That will, of course, probably keep Grinding Zone to just 1 pass, and it sure does. 4 points for Salt Creek, and they will eke up on FoCo, 37-44. We've got 15:44 on that clock. FoCo, Girls Gone Derby, have played at Mayday Mayhem since 2012. That's 3 of the 5, if you count this year as our 5th. Of course, the microbruisers, named for the fact that Fort Collins is the largest producer of beer in Colorado and is ranked first in the country in volume produced by brewery items. The jam is back in play. We've got Unchained Melody on the line for FoCo, and she is up against number 4125, Plum Jam Happy, who is your lead jammer.
Yeah, Plum Jam Happy getting a very early breakout. Unchained Melody still stuck in that pack as Plum Jam Happy comes around on a scoring pass now. Unchained Melody taking a big hit but stays on track on that inside line, breaking free on her initial pass. Plum Jam Happy already passing 2 blockers from FoCo, now facing up, knocked to that inside line, again to the outside. Fantastic work there being recycled back as Unchained Melody aims for that inside line. Oh, splits that line open and bursts through. I could hear the crowd screaming for it to be called. 4 points to Salt Creek, and I believe that is 4 points also to FoCo. Neutral jam there.
A Swiss jam?
Swiss jam.
Do the Swiss make jam?
They make cheese and chocolate.
I suppose someone there makes jam. Everybody makes jam, right? 48-41, 14 minutes left in the half, and we're going to make another jam right now.
Salt Creek, 4 blockers on track. trying to open up that outside line, but it's opened up for the wrong jammer. 333 hat trick picking up lead jammer for FoCo. Number 3, Medora West, breaking free, about a third of a track behind her. Hat trick jumping her way around the outside line. Fantastic footwork there, just jukes her way around all of the blockers. Calls that jam to an end very quickly. FoCo now 52 to 41, 11 points ahead as we reach into the 13th minute remaining.
Salt Creek, of course, hailing from Casper, Wyoming. Presently, they are unranked with the WFTDA. That will, of course, change in June when May's rankings come out. And right now, FoCo 191st in the WFTDA rankings.
Jamming for FoCo.
It's number 84, Grind and Zone, out there for Salt Creek. She is jamming against number 13, Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman just sneaking that lead jammer out in front of Grinding Zone. Grinding Zone working so hard, picking her feet up and jumping all over the place. Wonder Woman just slides straight past her, picks up lead jammer, hits the back of the pack first. Grinding Zone following her through. Wonder Woman calls that jam to an end. How picking up 4 points against 2 points to FoCo.
And Wonder Woman picking up 4 points for FoCo.
So a slightly delayed call off there by Wonder Woman. It doesn't disadvantage her too much, but maybe those 2 points in such a close game could pay quite costly later on.
FoCo actually having a couple of jams this game where a sneaky Salt Creek jammer has stolen some points. And you know, when you get down to the end of things, you know, those 7 or 8 points that you give up could mean something down the line.
Absolutely, completely change a game at any point, whether it's at the beginning or halfway through or the last few jams.
98 pounds of steel, lead jammer for the Micro Bruisers. She is jamming against number 4125, Plum Jam Happy.
Plum Jam stuck behind a trio wall there that was just managing to hold her on that inside line. She needed help from her team to break her out. Break her out they did indeed. But she's only just in front of 98 pounds of steel, who's now coming up against her, having already picked up a full scoring pass. Manages to dart ahead of her and calls that jam to an end, holding Salt Creek to 0. Plum Jam Happy not picking up any points as yet. And 2 more points added to the FoCo girls' score.
98 pounds of steel picking up that jammer lap point with that burst of speed and then passing one other blocker. Score now 43 Salt Creek, 62 FoCo, and we have 11 minutes of period clock time remaining.
Going up against 333 hat trick, looking to pull off the hat trick.
Hat trick now jamming for FoCo. Pushing away up on that front wall, a trio wall there. Number 6 for Salt Creek, who is Heather Hunt, 006, trying to be the offensive player and working well. She manages to break out her jammer, Medora West. Hat trick still stuck in the pack on her initial pass, being knocked to that inside line and squashed up against the outside. Stays on track. Fantastic work there. Medora West taken down to the ground, has a little bit of a slide, but back on her feet now.
Hat trick out and ready to score. Medora West forced on the recycle. She goes ahead and calls off the jam. She does pick up her full 5 points, picking up that jammer lap point early on in that scoring pass. What I am noticing from the Micro Bruisers is that whenever their jammer gets knocked to either the inside or the outside, they make sure that they are there to block the backup.
Yeah.
We're not seeing a lot of, taking your recycling to the community recycling down the road here. Yeah. It's definitely, nope, recycling is in home, and we're going to keep it in the pack.
Yeah, it's being kept very close play throughout.
Taking the star for the ladies in blue, that's 84 Grinding Zone, and she does break free as lead jammer. She is skating against number 138, Unchained Malady, who is out and ready to score.
Grinding Zone now reaching the back of the pack. Darts away around the outside line. Keeps herself in. Just 3 points there for Salt Creek, but fantastic work. Absolute burst of speed there just at the end. Swishes her hips in front. 3 points. Another jammer may have hesitated and been blocked completely off track there, so really good work there by Grinding Zone.
9-point game, 51-62, just a little less than 9 minutes on the clock, and here's where we're seeing that, 1, 2, or 3 points here or there, and all of a sudden Fort Collins is going to see their lead disappear.
Absolutely. They're pushing now, pushing back in with lead jammer being picked up by Wonder Woman. Plum Jam Happy still stuck in the pack for Assault Creek. Her teammate giving her a little bit of a shove to give her some speed around the outside line. It gets her out a little bit, but she's still just behind number 8008, Princess of Wales. Plum Jam Happy manages to break free almost instantaneously as Wonder Woman breaks through the pack. 4 points added to FoCo's score. This is taking them up. We've now got a 15-point gap between the two teams as we hit 8 minutes remaining in this half.
66-51. Crazy game out there. Thank you so much to not only our videographers who have volunteered to be out there this weekend, but also our photographers, Joel Giltner, photography.com. That's a Shutter Up. Gil Cromeans is in the house, and also John Acosta. On the track, we've got 98 pounds of steel out in front. She is lead jammer and jamming against Medora West, number 3 for Assault Creek.
Medora taken down to the ground, but an out of play on the skaters means she can break through nice and easily. In the meantime, 98 pounds of steel now up in the thick of the action. Everybody on the floor.
3, 4, 5 skaters going down.
And that jam's called to an end. We have had a penalty issued against number 99 Lindsay McVeigh for Assault Creek during that pile-up.
4 points to 1, FoCo. On top in that, 70-52, and we have 6 minutes and 55 seconds remaining in the first half. Remember, folks, we are here all day today, all day tomorrow, and most of the day on Sunday. ColoradoSports.TV.
FoCo now starting with 4 blockers on the track and managing to hold a very steady front wall here. 3 blockers working in that triangle and just really slowing down Plum Jam Happy, who tries to toe stop her way back onto the track but picks up a cut track penalty in doing so. This leaves Unchained Melody on a power jam for FoCo. She's knocked to the inside and taken back, but she's now realising it is a power jam and pushes ahead with her offensive player.
Great jammer awareness on the part of Unchained Melody, making sure that you remember where the jammer is on the track at all times. If she hadn't have realized it was a power jam for her, likely she would have called off the jam when she was reabsorbed into the pack.
Unchained Melody now working her way around the outside line. Taken down to her knees, but manages to stay on the track. Again, down to her knees on that inside line, but still on the track. Darts her way through, just nudged off, and we can hear her coach instructing her to call that one to an end. As we have Assault Creek's jammer standing now in the box.
We've got a power start against Plum Jam Happy. Of course, Plum Jam Happy headed to the box for that track cut, 74-52. We've got 5 minutes and 20 seconds left here in the first half.
Very high scoring jams during power jam situations. You can get 20.
Number 13, Wonder Woman, is on the line. Oh, sorry. That's 3-3-3, hat trick.
Hat trick pinballing her way through on a very quick start there, making sure she used as much of that power jam situation that was left in her favour. Plum Jam Happy has now returned to the track from the penalty box, but is stuck, hasn't managed to break out from the pack as yet. Some wonderful hits to both the inside and the outside.
Great following and also waterfalling on the part of FoCo. One last person to beat, that's Gal Capone, and they have to let her out.
That's totally happening too.
And Hat Trick sneaks away around that outside line, picking up 4 more points for FoCo, holding Assault 2-0. It was number 12 I picked up on, Hermione Danger, in that last jam, working some fantastic offensive play and straight back onto the defensive play. She was switching again effortlessly between the 2 different roles.
Your friends know that you are
It was pretty impressive. It was like smooth moving, just back and forth and back and forth, almost like she was rocking a baby to sleep, but not.
I'm sure I'm sure the opposition wasn't too happy about being rocked. Oh, some fantastic juking. Sorry, yes, Wonder Woman doing some fantastic juking there to the inside line. She's up against Grinding Zone, who's been knocked to the outside line and recycled back. Oh, beautiful leap there. Wonder Woman, 5-point grand slam, just as we've got Grinding Zone breaking free from the pack.
Wonder Woman putting on the speed as she hits the pack on her second scoring pass. Not giving enough time for Grinding Zone to get much past her line. Four more points. That's a 9-point total. Jam, 87-52. 3 minutes and 12 seconds remaining in the first half.
Lots of leaping around there by Wonder Woman. It was almost from the far side of the track to the near side of the track in one jump to avoid a block.
It was rather gazelle.
Yes.
She has very long legs, and then also her long hair goes out behind her.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, well, that's aesthetically pleasing.
I wonder if that's where the name comes from.
Could be. It could very well be. I could see Mike Myers writing a poem about that. Number 3, Medora West, headed to the penalty box.
She picks up a track cut after taking a hit, so this leaves 98 pounds of steel on a power jam for FoCo.
And that's going to give FoCo lead jammer.
FoCo down to just 3 blockers. They're keeping the pack slow and steady, but provide a little hit there just as 98 pounds of steel comes around, hitting the back of the pack. She uses her own force to push through, splitting that wall apart, and picks up a 5-point grand slam for FoCo. The micro bruisers now up to 4 on the track.
Now we've got both teams out with
They managed to get Assault moving. A no-pack situation happens, but the jam's called dead after 3 points picked up.
Jam called dead just as Medora West stands to her feet in the box. That, of course, means we have less than 10 seconds left on West's time in the box. 95-52 right now, minute and 47 seconds remaining in the half.
Melody now jamming for FoCo.
As number 3, Medora West is sitting in the penalty box.
Medora West again caged in the penalty box with number 138, Unchained Malady, for FoCo's Micro Bruisers. Medora West released from the penalty box as Unchained Malady breaks free from the pack. Lead jammer in that power start.
Medora West doing a very good job of just using her own force to break through. It was a very solid wall. I don't know how she got through. I think her size worked in her favor. As Unchained Malady now reaches the back, she's working her way through. Knocked down to her knees, calls that jam to an end. As Malady was racing her way back around, doesn't manage to pick up any points. FoCo up to 99, not quite hitting that triple digits, but they do have a few seconds remaining in this half. Assault Creek on 52 points currently.
48 seconds, of course, left in our first half. We'll have at least one more jam.
And it's going to be 333 hat trick on the jammer line for FoCo.
She's jamming up against Plum Jam Happy for Assault Creek.
Plum Jam Happy trying to take that inside line, pushing away against the 2-wall from FoCo. And it's hat trick knocked to the inside line as well. Plum Jam Happy knocked down to her knees on the inside. So both jammers trying to take that inside line. FoCo holding the front with Assault holding a wall at the back as we reach turn number 4. And it is number 333, Hat Trick, who manages to spin her way around her opposition to pick up lead jammer. Plum Jam Happy knocked down to her knees, but takes herself off track for a track cut penalty. So Hat Trick is now on a power jam for FoCo.
With the period clock run out, we are on jam time, 1 minute and 13 seconds left here in this first period. 5 points for Hat Trick.
So now she's going for the new hat trick. The first one she got.
Lovely spin around the outside there, keeping herself on the track and pushing her opposition out of play. Beautiful extra 5 points added to FoCo's score.
10 points thus far for Hat Trick. We've got about 42 seconds remaining in the jam as Hat Trick picks up 3 in a row, 15 points.
Plum Jam Happy now released from the box. Hat Trick's working away on another scoring pass, baiting the opposition to the outside and then taking the inside line. Number 99, Lindsay McVeigh, almost catching her doing it, but it works in Hat Trick's favour. She picks up another set of points for the Micro Bruisers. Plum Jam Happy, however, stuck trying to take that inside line, but the Micro Bruisers again doing a very good job of cycling around her. She seems to have had quite a lot of trouble in the packs this afternoon so far, certainly from this game.
4 additional points for a Hat Trick. She's going to go ahead and call it off. 124-52. FoCo Girls Gone Derby on top. Huge jam in that last jam. 25 points for Hat Trick. Holly, what does it look like when your team heads into halftime with a deficiency like this?
Oh, it's really tricky to try and get yourself back together, but you've got to take on board what you've learnt in that half already. So if I were playing for Assault Creek, I'd be wanting to sit down and go, what's working in our favour? What do we really need to crack down on? You've got to do the work. You've got to put the hard work in the second half, but you've had 30 minutes to work out what that hard work is going to be. So as long as they keep their mind in the game and keep focused on cracking down on where they've let the points go, where they've picked up the penalties, then they do still have a chance. There's 30 minutes. We've seen some high-scoring jams in this game and in other games that have been going on today as well. So a lot of work to be done by Assault Creek, but the game is still there to be played.
We are running a 10-minute halftime on this game. We are going to take a quick break, and we will be back with some recap of your first half of FoCo Girls Gone Derby versus Assault Creek Roller Girls here at Mayday Mayhem on ColoradoSports.TV. Again, I'm Ms. Communication.
And I'm Holly Sheet.
And we'll be right back. We are back with 1 minute and 3 seconds left here in halftime. Welcome once again to the 2015 Mayday Mayhem coverage here on ColoradoSports.TV. I'm Ms. Communication.
And I'm Holly Sheet.
Score right now between the FoCo Girls Gone Derby and Assault Creek Roller Girls, 123-52. Just a few stats from the first half. High-scoring jam for Assault is number 3, Medora West, the only jammer who jammed with any frequency in the game earlier against Oklahoma City. She picked up 15 points, and then right at the end, Hat Trick of the first half, 24 points. For FoCo on 15 points of those being power points. Really 2 power jams given up by FoCo, 4 power jams being given up by Assault Creek, but that deficiency between the scores is only about 23 points are the power points there, so still representative of the score. Second half of the game is in play. 98 pounds of steel skating for FoCo.
FoCo playing in the black, and in the blue we have Assault Creek's number 9. Is that 99, I believe? Is that Lindsay McVeigh jamming?
It is Lindsay McVeigh. Here I say that only one person from the first game, and she comes out.
Well, Lindsay McVeigh, having not jammed in that first half, put straight on for this game. Knocked down to the floor. She hasn't yet broken free of the pack. 98 pounds of steel picking up a 5-point Grand Slam pass. Lindsay McVeigh managing to push her opposition out of play, breaks free of the pack, and the original Skankster picking up that out of play penalty.
The original Skankster being called on an out of play penalty.
Lindsay McVeigh does try and throw her hips around to pick up a point there. She's unsuccessful in doing so.
7-0 for that jam. 130-52 FoCo Micro Bruisers on top. 28 minutes and 50 seconds remaining in the game.
Melody, not melody. No melodies.
Sorry, no melodies.
You've already been warned.
3-on-3 on the track. Both teams with a blocker in the penalty box. And Lee Jammer going very quickly to Unchained Malady for FoCo. Grinding zone, pushing her way around the outside. Seems to be her favoured position for breaking free of the pack. And just using those legs to try and catch up again up to the pack and up to Melody as well.
FoCo right now with 2 blockers in the box. Unchained Melody hits the pack, calls off the jam. She does pick up 2 points.
And FoCo picking up 2 points there.
And 0 points for Grinding Zone and Assault Creek. Again, at this point in the game, FoCo are so far ahead that the little points, 2 points here, 3 points there, as long as they're keeping Assault to 0, it's just going to go their way completely. Assault really need to be cracking down and making sure they're the ones putting the points on and holding FoCo to 0.
It's a little fast.
27 minutes left in the game, 132 to 52. Assault Creek again in blue, FoCo in black.
And both sets of jammers just darting their way around behind their opposition. We've got Medora West pushing against the front, manages to spin away round their outside, picking up lead jammer for Assault Creek.
That's 3-3-3, hat trick out and ready to score. So we've got a lot of threes out there on the track
They've come up against each other a couple of times as well. Medora West furiously calling that jam to an end as she skates around the outside. We are going to have a skating out of bounds penalty assessed to Medora West. She was skating out of bounds as she was calling off the jam, avoiding hits. Of course, is how you get that skating out of bounds penalty. FoCo going to start this next jam in a power jam situation. Assault taking the front line, trying to slow down FoCo's jammer, who is number 13, Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman out and ready to score. Pack stalled between turns 1 and 2.
Ooh.
Wonder Woman jumping the apex. She doesn't need any active offensive help from her team. She'll just skip it. That's 5 points up in the air for FoCo.
Wonder Woman picking up a forearm penalty as she came through on that second scoring pass. In the meantime, Medora West has been released from the penalty box. She's now back on track and pushing her way through. Splits and breaks free on her initial pass. It is a power jam in her preference at the moment, but she is not lead. This jam will run for the full 2 minutes.
This is a great opportunity right now.
Medora West comes out of the pack, picks up 5 power points with Wonder Woman on her feet in the box. Pack right now stalled off of turn 3 as Wonder Woman is released. 43 seconds remaining in jam play.
Wonder Woman just powering her way through, sadly taken to that inside line. Medora West just trying to push and push and push. She was up against a very solid wall, managed to break them down to just 2 before she broke through, picking up 5 points for Assault Creek. Wonder Woman picking up 4 points in reply shortly afterwards. Chasing round to the back of the pack, Wonder Woman quicker and knocks Medora West down to the floor on turn number 1. Medora West almost knocked down once more by Princess of Wales, but manages to dart around. Wonder Woman so speedy all the way back round to the pack before Medora West hits the back of that FoCo wall. Some brilliant jamming there by Wonder Woman.
Another single point there. That was 10 points on that, 14 points on that jam for FoCo. 15 points, though, for...
That was some great skating there from
Assault Creek. 15-14 in that last jam. Assault at 68 points, FoCo at 146.
And we have 98 pounds of steel.
We do have a cleared penalty box, which is nice to know. And we have Lindsay McVeigh jamming for Assault Creek. She's pushing away at the front, does pick up lead jammer, just darts around the 2-wall of FoCo. FoCo are taking a back block penalty on their jammer, so this is a power jam for Lindsay McVeigh.
Holly, I'm blaming you because just as you said the penalty box is full, tweet! Yeah.
I'll try not to curse it next time.
5 points for Lindsay McVeigh on this power jam. Assault Creek sending number 36, Breathtaker, to the box for 30 seconds.
Lindsay McVeigh taking a couple of shoulder shunts, but manages to get through. Another blocker for FoCo sent to the penalty box. So they will start a very low number of players on the track. They still have 98 pounds of steel standing in the penalty box. So this will start as a power jam for A Salt Creek. And just 2 blockers on track for FoCo. They may be joined very soon. We do have another blocker standing in the box for FoCo. And only 2 A Salt roller girls on the track as well. So empty, there's so much space on track.
It's amazing what happens when you sort other blockers out to the penalty box. It's number 84, Grindin' Zone on the line, and lead jammer right now in this power start. 98 pounds of steel, though, already out, already ready to score points.
A solitary blocker on the track for A Salt Creek manages to break apart the opposition just enough, and 5 points added to A Salt Creek's total. They're now on 83 points, playing against 146. We've got 22 minutes remaining of this game.
I have actually seen a 100-point deficiency be caught up in 20 minutes, and this is not 100 points. So certainly everybody's cliche out there, folks.
It's doable, but it will take a lot of work. And they're going to have to stop this from happening. Unchained Melody picking up lead jammer for the Micro Bruisers.
It's number 3, Medora West. Sorry, my brains didn't like connect with each other there. Medora West for A Salt Creek. She's still fighting her way through on her initial pass up against that FoCo defense. She has 1 to beat.
And beat as she does with style. Unchained Melody taking a few hits, blocked down to her knees earlier. Calls that jam to an end after Medora breaks from the pack. She picked up 5 points already in the process, though. 151 points for FoCo against 83 for A Salt Creek.
20 minutes ticking down on that period clock. Here in the house, but also online, Derby Supply, high altitude. Right now they're doing on-site cleaning and bearings here in house, helping us with our skates. They also will do custom vinyl, t-shirts, and stickers for you. Check out Derby Supply, high altitude.
We've got number 99, Lindsay McVeigh in blue for A Salt, pushing against the front 2 FoCo blockers. She tries to take that inside line, but is knocked to the inside, and it is Wonder Woman. No, I apologize. That is Hat Trick, pushing away around the outside line, taking Wonder Woman's usual tactic of the outside line, picking up lead jammer for FoCo.
McVeigh out and ready to score. Hat Trick taking a little leap out of the pack. 4 points for FoCo. She calls off the jam.
Hat Trick there, skating almost identically to Wonder Woman. Again, jumping from the outside line to the inside to avoid those blocks and calling that jam to an end just before she hits turn number 3. Definitely taking a leaf out of her fellow jammers' books there.
Going up against Grinding Zone for A Salt Creek.
FoCo, of course, ranked seeded 4th in the tournament. A Salt Creek 7th in their grouping, their little pool. And Grindin' Zone is sent to the penalty box for a back block.
This allows Wonder Woman the chance to pick up lead jammer. She does do by side surfing her way around the opposition, and she's now back on a scoring pass. A little bit of help thrown in there by UB Nice. But Wonder Woman knocked to the inside line, recycled all the way back behind her own wall. Plum Jam happy picking up a clockwise blocking penalty in trying to recycle Wonder Woman further back. Wonder Woman picking up a 5-point grand slam, makes her way back around on another scoring pass, as we have standing jammer in the box for A Salt Creek.
Wonder Woman putting on 5 more power points as Grindin' Zone gets back in from the box.
Ooh.
Both of them hit the pack. Grindin' Zone going to be the last line of defense. She knocks Wonder Woman back in, forces that recycle as Grindin' Zone takes off, ready to score.
Grinder Zone through to start.
Some wonderful block jamming happening there by Grinding Zone. We saw a little apex jump by Wonder Woman, which I thought was exciting enough on its own, and then to go straight into the jammer on jammer action and the recycling from Assault Creek's jammer Grinding Zone. It's fantastic work.
It's very, very tricky because you always run the risk that way of the pack waterfalling forward and reabsorbing you.
Absolutely. It's a risk that worked in her favor, though, managing to split free from the pack before she was recycled in herself.
170 to 83, 17 minutes and 46 seconds. We've got a track cut being called on Medora West.
She leaves 98 pounds of steel. A solitary jammer picking up lead status for FoCo and now making her way back round. Her team splitting apart, allowing her to come through the middle. Some offense being thrown in there by number 576. That is the Deathly Haller, but Assault holding steady and barely moving. Plum Jam Happy, who we saw jamming regularly in the first half, has been providing a good blocking assistance here for Assault Creek in the second half.
5 points for 98 pounds of steel. Score lengthening out to 175-83. Only 5 power points as Medora West gets back in from the penalty box. 5 more points for 98 pounds of steel. She goes ahead and calls off the jam with Medora West free and ready to score.
It almost looked like a pick playing basketball. Just gonna go through.
We're coming up to 16.5 minutes remaining in this half. Neither team has taken a timeout.
We haven't had any timeouts or official reviews the whole game. Of course, we're going to say that there's going to be a timeout or an official review.
I won't mention who's not in the penalty box right now.
I'm going to make a true confession to you, Holly Sheet.
Yes.
I have at times when I've wanted my team to maybe have the other team's jammer in the box said, so-and-so hasn't had any penalties.
You're calling on the roller derby beings above
it never
to
works for me, though. Out and a lead jammer. That is number 99, Lindsay McVeigh.
She's up again. Unchained Melody having some trouble there. Managing to stay on 1 foot around the outside line. She's now just facing up against number 28, Hall Pass. Breaks free, is not lead, but has broken free. Some good work there, staying on track by Unchained Melody.
McVeigh getting nudged to the outfield as she goes ahead and calls off the jam. I believe that's a singular point, but I'm going to wait for the board to be updated. Oh, 4 points. He was turning sideways. That looks like one finger when your hand is sideways, right?
Needs to spread them apart a bit more. Make them like a fan.
But we're not the ones that it matters to see.
We do have to pass on the information to all of those listening in, though. Thank you for listening in. Please don't forget to donate if you are watching through to make sure tournaments like this can continue to happen and continue to be streamed. Ooh, fantastic work there. Grinding Zone just running up that outside line, almost being knocked out, but Matrix style keeping herself on track and picking up lead jammer.
Grinding Zone being hit to the outfield by the Deathly Howler. We've said her name a few times in this game.
We have indeed.
Hat Trick still tussling with Assault Creek up at the top of the pack. She's got Rita Riot to beat, and she's out.
Hat Trick now through to start her scoring run.
We've got a call there by Grinding Zone, seeing that Hat Trick was on her way back around and she'd been knocked to the outside line. On her way back round, returning to the track, decided it was too much. Calls that one to an end.
180 to 92, 14 minutes and 17 seconds remaining in the game. If you are listening to us here in Colorado, we do have tickets available at the door. We are located at the ranch and in the Budweiser Event Center complex. Take the drive up to Loveland tomorrow. I mean, what else are you going to do on a rainy day?
Indeed.
Number 13, Wonder Woman, out in front, lead jammer for FoCo.
Medora West hot on her heels, though. And both jammers picking up plenty of pace as they come back round to the pack. The pack virtually not moving. It is Assault Creek at the back, and Wonder Woman bursts into that wall, manages to split it apart to pick up 2 points for FoCo. And I believe that's a misconduct penalty being issued. I can't see who it's been issued to, but we've had misconduct.
A misconduct penalty being issued 92. Oh, I thought it was on the jammer. It must have been a skater who was hitting Medora West as they went out. It was
some action after the whistle that shouldn't have occurred.
Probably. 98 pounds of steel on the line for FoCo. She is jamming against number 99, Lindsay McVeigh.
Lindsay McVeigh managing to break free as we've got the Deathly Hallow picking up a track cut penalty as she tried to get back in front of Lindsay McVeigh.
Both jammers out and ready to score. Assault, though, at the back of the pack. It's like a 0-0 jam. Nothing really moving on that scoreboard except for our time, 183.92. FoCo still on top. 12 minutes and 31 seconds remaining in the game. What I am noticing in this game, Holly, watching Assault earlier today against Oklahoma City, I certainly see a lot of things kind of that they picked up from Oklahoma City. They're definitely putting together a better defense against FoCo, and that's why we're seeing a relatively closer score than we saw earlier today.
But it's good to see that teams are progressing as they go through the tournament.
Number 84, Grind and Zone, your lead jammer, though out and ready to score points. That's number 138, Unchained Malady.
A hit to the outside, just shunting Grind and Zone off. She calls that jam to an end. She had already picked up 4 points.
Unfortunately, the next jam she's going to have to, or they're going to have to do that without.
We've got a few people in the penalty box. This gives us 3 blockers for FoCo and 2 for Assault on the track.
96-183, FoCo on top. Microbruisers looking to make a run at winning their pool.
That looks like Medora West pushing on the inside. And it is number 86, Gal Capone, who has not yet jammed for FoCo, picking up lead jammer for that team.
Gal Capone out and lead jammer. We've got Medora West out and ready to score points. FoCo losing a blocker to the penalty box. Big story right now, though, is that Assault Creek only with 2 blockers out on the track. We've got a full penalty box for the ladies from Casper.
Indeed, I think that made it a nice easy pass for Gal Capone. She just had to push them out of play, pick up those points and call that jam to an end.
You wouldn't want to push our broadcast out of happening for next year's Mayday Mayhem, would you? If you don't, you can certainly go ahead and click donate on our page. Throw us a few dollars. I suggest $5 a day. I think that's a reasonable cost for so much derby action here at Mayday Mayhem. That's Wonder Woman with the lead jammer status. She is jamming against Lindsay McVeigh.
Both jammers coming back round to the pack. Lindsay McVeigh almost tapping her hips, having a look at her jammer referee as that back wall of blue is looming first. Lindsay McVeigh now pushing against the front FoCo wall, being knocked to the inside line.
Another 4 points for the FoCo Microbruisers. Wonder Woman looking to her bench to see where she should go now. Coach says keep it running, and so she does. McVeigh with 4 points.
The original Skankster being sent off for a penalty. Brings FoCo down to 3 on the track.
1 additional point for FoCo. That's a total of 5 for them, 4 for Assault Creek, 100 points for Assault Creek, 192 for FoCo Girls Gone Derby, 9 minutes and 15 seconds remaining in the game. FoCo Girls Gone Derby actually founded in 2006, joined the WFTDA in 2009. That was kind of when we saw a lot of teams in Colorado go ahead and make the switch over to the WFTDA. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we may have 4 Division I teams after May rankings come out next month. Big hits on the line. We've got 98 pounds of steel and number 84.
Grind and Zone.
Grind and Zone. She is lead jammer.
Some very lots of action happening here on the line before we had lead jammer awarded. 98 pounds of steel, almost picking it up herself, but being recycled in very effectively. She does now have a break for her initial pass, but Grinding Zone already in and scoring. Looks to her referee and calls that jam dead.
4 points for Assault Creek. Nothing for the Micro Bruisers. 192-104. FoCo still on top with 8 minutes left in the game. There is still plenty more action coming up next here on track 2 at 4 p.m. Mountain Time.
Malady jamming for FoCo.
We will have 1 versus 5 Oklahoma City versus the Pueblo Derby Devil Dolls coming up at 4 p.m. Mountain.
No practice calls.
Hat trick out there with the star on her helmet. She is skating against number 3, Medora West, and Medora West out and lead. I was gonna, yeah, 138.
A very shambled pack. We've had people on and off from the penalty box throughout this as Medora West now tries to push away at that front. Almost breaking free, she does. She picks up those points, calls that jam instantly, and calls it in time. 0 points awarded to FoCo with the 4 points to Assault Creek. They are still a long way behind with 7 minutes remaining. 192 playing 108. And miscommunication, I can also state that in my head, for those who are watching over in the UK, I do think we've got a few people watching. $5 equates to around about £3.
Okay.
Which is nothing really.
Throw us a threer. Yeah, right there. Into the collection bin, or you know, you could just forget about the exchange rate.
Indeed,
drop
just make it £5. Yeah,
£5.
Gal Capone for FoCo, second jam out, second time lead jammer. So she's doing 2 for 2 here, having only jammed in the second half though. She slides around that inside line, picks up those points and calls it almost unseen. The Salt Creek Derby girls were struggling on the outside line to try and get back in, having been swept out. Some really good work there by the FoCo Micro Bruisers. They're now on 196 to 108 with just under 6 minutes remaining.
Just under 6 minutes remaining in our game and just under 2.5 days left in our tournament.
You've got to keep watching. It's been fantastic.
Certainly. Just leave it on the television all weekend. Number 13, Wonder Woman, out and lead for FoCo.
The Grinding Zone hot on her heels, almost taking her out as they broke into the turn number 3. Grinding Zone trying to chase her back up, but Wonder Woman, those long legs are just powering through, and she hits the pack with a few seconds to spare. Her coach is shouting to call it. Does she do so in time? She does indeed. So holding Assault to 0, picking up 2 more points themselves. They're on 198, almost on that 200-point barrier. Assault on 108, and we've got just over 5 minutes remaining. Four on 4 in the pack.
Got 98 pounds of steel on the line for the FoCo Girls Gone Derby. That is Medora West playing every third jam, almost the entire game for Assault Creek. 98 pounds of steel, though, is lead jammer.
Hat trick for FoCo, being sent off for a misconduct penalty. After blocking Medora down to the ground. Medora's back up and having broken free. Coming back round on a scoring potential. Jam's called to an end with 4 points being picked up by 98 pounds of steel and no points for Medora West.
If you would like to keep apprised of who is playing what, who got the score of what, and how that affects their seeding into our bracket play tomorrow, go to facebook.com, search for Mayday Mayhem. There will be a link there to the Google document, which will be updated live.
Fantastic.
So you can follow along and know exactly where we're at in the tournament.
And remember, we've got pool play all day today and tomorrow morning, going into the brackets tomorrow afternoon.
Lindsay McVeigh out on the track for Salt Creek. She becomes lead jammer, but 1-3-8 Unchained Malady out and about 30 feet, 20 feet behind the pack.
The pack being split up. Oh, some fantastic Unchained Malady spotting that gap from almost a quarter of a turn away, breaks her way through and picks up those 4 points unchallenged. Lindsay McVeigh just realising what's happened, calls that jam to an end, having picked up no points.
108 to 206 at 3 minutes remaining in the game. I try to imagine to myself what it would be like to skate derby and what would be more frustrating or less frustrating. And I would think being reabsorbed by the pack after being declared lead has got to rank up there perhaps with maybe 2 penalties in a row in the same jam as being very frustrating.
Yeah, being recycled back in is not only frustrating, it just breaks your, well, it's called the soul crush. It just stops you from wanting to play derby ever again.
So number 84 Grindin Zone out in front as lead. Number 86 Gal Capone jamming for FoCo. Grindin Zone picks up 4 more points and she calls off the jam, 112 to 206. It's certainly Salt Creek improving their gameplay in this game, keeping it a little closer in score with FoCo. Of course, we had a rankings thing happening earlier with their game against Oklahoma City. Less than 2 minutes left in the game.
She's going up against number 3, Medora West.
We've got number 3, Medora West, hitting the top of the pack, just facing us now. And that's Wonder Woman number 13, and she is out lead.
Yeah, Wonder Woman again getting nice and low, avoiding those hits out on the opposition straight. Medora West pushing her way through. Manages to do so. Doesn't look too pleased with herself, though. I think it was only due to penalties being called on her opposition rather than her breaking through. But now Wonder Woman chasing her down as they hit towards the back of the pack. 4 Salt Creek blockers in front of Wonder Woman. Only 2 in front of Medora. Did she sneak her way through in time? Wonder Woman picking up 1. Medora picking up 4 points.
And we watched Wonder Woman exit the track like, oh, with her arms askew. So she was pretty aware of that. And we have our first team timeout of the game with 51 seconds frozen on the clock.
Do you reckon they'll just use them all now in a row?
2:11, 1:16. You know, I actually, if I could, you know, try to go out on a little bit of a limb here and hope it doesn't snap. I think the key here is that this is not the only game that FoCo is going to be playing this weekend.
Oh, yes.
If they allow themselves to get sloppy and lose focus at the end of this game, it's, you know, they will still win the game.
But they could carry that on.
But that could carry on into their next game here at Mayday Mayhem 2015, and that could work against them.
There's a difference between confidence and cockiness, and if you've got cockiness, your gameplay does start to slip. You still need to keep that strong mentality, all of that focus throughout the whole 30 minutes of each half.
Although flailing arms at the end of the jam might come along with cockiness, and you know, it's a Muppet thing. It's cool. We do have actually a fairly significant crowd watching the game. We've got the Pueblo Derby Devil Dolls getting ready for their game, standing here. I am guessing that they would be cheering on FoCo, being a same state team.
Maybe so. Are they facing up against each other later on, though? They do play each other tomorrow morning. So, again, they'll be watching to take some tips on how to crack down on them in their own game. Back on, we're into the dying seconds of this game. And that is number 99, Lindsay McVeigh, powering her way through, taking a few hits, but picking up lead jammer for Salt Creek. This pack is getting faster and faster. I don't think we've seen a pack this fast at this point in the jam so far in this game.
A great job there from the Salt Creek defense.
98 pounds of steel having some issues with that defense. She tries to draft and sneak around the outside, and she is out ready to score. Lindsay McVeigh contending with the micro bruisers at the bottom of the pack, trying to find that back entry to find the front door. She gets knocked out of bounds, calls off the jam. And we have a team timeout being called by FoCo. FoCo wanting to put another jam.
Absolutely. Lindsay McVeigh just here on turn number 2, managing to keep herself in, spinning on one foot. It was very sort of, it's a move I'd see an ice skater do perhaps, and she's there pulling it off on quad wheels, which is fantastic to see. The agility and the skill that's been displayed over this game throughout the whole of this morning as well is fantastic to see from you know, we've got unranked teams here showing exactly what they can do, and it's fun. It is really good. I'm enjoying every single second of this.
2:11, 1:18, 5 seconds remaining on the clock. They actually put the 5 seconds, corrected the time, the scoreboard. That's why you saw unofficial final and then it went away.
Yeah.
So 2:11, 1:18, another jam for FoCo. Definitely FoCo's coaches looking to build some momentum heading into their tournament play here at Mayday Mayhem 2015. Sorry, I get mesmerized sometimes with our fancy NSOs. 2:11, 1:18. This is likely the last jam. That's 84. Grind and zone. She is lead for Salt Creek. We have a forearm penalty on Hat Trick.
Which gives a power jam situation to Grind and Zone. The crowd has suddenly gotten louder. Grind and Zone doing a fantastic job of breaking through, juking around and picking up 5 more points. Salt Creek, I don't think they can get the lead in the game, but they will certainly want to add every single point they can do.
And they certainly could suck the air out of the momentum that FoCo was hoping to build by creating that extra jam.
Absolutely. Good offensive play here by number 8. Danger Girl breaking that pack apart for Grinding Zone. But that jam called to an end. 4 more points added. 9 points in that jam by Grinding Zone.
2:11, 1:27, our unofficial final. That was a FoCo Girls Gone Derby against Salt Creek Roller Girls. We are going to get ready to bring out the Oklahoma City Roller Derby team and Pueblo Derby Devil Dolls for our 4 p.m. game. That'll be starting, we will probably have a bit of a delayed start. It's 3:45 right now local time. We'll need to have warm-ups for the teams. We have put the final up there. I'm just going to glance through here. You know, basically, I'm looking at a lot of scribbles for lead jammer on the left-hand side of my page for FoCo. Yep. FoCo obviously taking control early on, or about halfway through the first period.
Definitely.
And just building their lead. And, you know, Salt Creek, of course, you know, a lower-ranked team, an unranked team. Pardon me, sorry. I apparently choke on my own air sometimes. So, Salt Creek, of course, 127-211. FoCo going on with a 1-0 record. Right now, Salt Creek with an 0-2 record. Thank you again for joining us here on ColoradoSports.TV for our coverage of the 2015 Mayday Mayhem here on Track 2. Once again, I am Ms. Communication.
And I've been Holly Sheet.
And please join us in about 20 or 30 minutes for our next game.